Hello, and welcome to the Girl, You're a Goddess podcast, the sacred space where divine feminine energy meets radiant living. I'm Hilary Burton, a licensed therapist, feminine empowerment coach, and dominatrix, here to guide you on a transformative journey of confidence, sensuality, and magnetic power. Whether you're manifesting your dream life, reigniting passion in your relationships, or simply seeking more joy and pleasure, this podcast is your guide to becoming the goddess you were meant to be. We have a beautiful guest today. Maria Diaz is a powerful guide for women ready to release shame, reclaim their pussy power, and lead unapologetically in every area of life. She's a breast cancer thriver, war survivor, and a woman who broke free from a 20-year toxic relationship, rising from deep trauma to embodied truth. Her story is one of radical transformation, devotion, and fierce feminine reclamation. Maria is a coach, a Reiki practitioner, and current trainee in Layla Martin's Vita program for tantric love, sex, and relationship coaching. Maria! Gorgeous, gorgeous goddess. I am so glad you are here. Thank you for joining. I feel like this episode has been a work in progress. We've had setbacks in trying to do this, and I have been so excited to chat with you. You are such a beautiful soul, and you have so many incredible things to share. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. It is such an honor to be here with you and have this conversation. And it's been so beautiful getting to know you more and just experiencing being in this energy with you. So it has been a work in progress to get to this podcast. But we're here because we are wonderful.
Yes, we'll figure it out. That is one thing. We will always figure it out. So thank you. I want to talk about your brand, your business. Your brand is your Orgasmic life. And that is what called to me so much when I was looking you up, and you submitted to be on the podcast. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about what that means for you and what you want to do for women.
So for me, the reason why I named my brand Your Orgasmic Life is because as I continue growing in my own development. So I've been doing self-development, doing the inner work, doing all the things that were uncomfortable for the last almost 11 years. And as I continued developing myself in my own personal journey, and I continued working through some things, I started noticing that I didn't only experience pleasure, joy, bliss in the common places that we're supposed to, that we're taught. Oh, you can experience orgasms and pleasure in the bedroom, having an intimate sexual encounter, making love. And it wasn't until I started doing the inner work and until I started working on my mindset, my relationship with myself, and healing the things, the identities that I had taken on in my life that actually didn't belong to me. They belonged either to my parents or to the societal norms that I was supposed to follow, or the ideology of the culture background that
I was going to ask, where do you feel like those identities came from, right? And how those showed up in your life. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So all these identities that I took on that actually didn't belong to me. So as the time went by, I started, undressing from those, like literally taking them off like you would when you're changing outfits. And the more I took them off, the more I have been able to experience pleasure, bliss, joy in the mundane things, in the everyday things of life. I used to hate washing dishes. And I have a dishwasher, but I on purpose sometimes wash the dishes by hand. because I put on some soft music. My soap that I use has lavender
Yes.
infused in it, and I just go into a deep
Mm.
gratitude of, oh my goodness, like I have food in the fridge. That's why I was able to
Yes.
cook, and that's why I have dirty dishes, and that's why we were able to eat, and I just sat with my
Yes.
daughter and had the most beautiful dinner. And now my dad is visiting
Yes.
for the summer, so I also have him too. So I stand there washing dishes with this deep
Mm.
gratitude of
I love
everything
that. And I feel like it's like,
that brought those
yeah,
dishes
and
to
it's
my
part of that,
sink.
like romanticizing the small things that we take for granted. And
Yes, yes,
sometimes we have that negative energy towards, but turning
yes.
it into something that's a pleasurable practice and shifting that mindset is so powerful.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I
Mm.
do to everything. I romanticize everything. It's hard. Okay, how can I make this like yummy? I want to do it, even if it's something I
Yeah.
don't want to do. So that's something that I started doing
Mm-hmm.
consistently in my life, and then I came to a point where, because I learned to have an intimate relationship with myself and honor myself and truly love myself, I started living from my
Mm.
truth. I started being authentic and honest with
Yes.
myself first before outwards,
Yeah.
going outwards. So, really reviewing, am I really honoring who I am and the things that I
Mm.
desire? The things that I want? Am I honoring my body? Am I honoring uh, the way that I want to be respected out
Yeah.
there? Like all the different things. Because the first place where it matters for us to look is
Mm-hmm.
not
Yes.
outwards, it's
Yeah.
inwards, because that's where most of the transformation happens. And if I don't have high
Yeah.
standards for me, and I don't have the self-discipline to live by those
Yeah.
standards, how can I then desire for
Mm-hmm.
somebody
Mm-hmm.
else to have those standards
Yes.
alongside me when I don't even have them for
Yeah.
myself, right? So it's always the
And
inner
I feel
work
like we're
first.
so like programmed to get that external validation though, right? Like everything in society and the way we're raised, all of that subconscious programming is to get that external validation. And so for as women, it's really tapping into that internal you, the self-worth, the self-love, the valuing yourself. And I also love that you brought up discipline, because so much of what we talk about is being in our feminine energy and tapping into that. But it's not just like we're always floating fairies and, you know, super light and carefree. There is structure and discipline that we need in that too. It's that balance of the feminine and masculine, and then having that inner validation, that inner worth to know what you deserve. So it's a whole combination of all of it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that there's this misconception that when we describe ourselves as
Mm-hmm.
goddesses and we think about the
Yeah.
feminine energy, that we think it's only soft, it's only, eating grapes in the forest and like flowing in this beautiful dress. And it's all of that. There's the softness and the magic and the romanticizing everything. But inside of all of that, the feminine energy is the energy
Mm-hmm.
of truth. She will destroy what is
Yes.
not the truth.
And when you think about like the Grecian goddesses and stuff, girl, they were warriors, absolute warriors. Like
Hmm.
all of them had within them the
Hmm.
capability to set their boundaries, to speak their truth, to ensure that they were receiving the respect and the treatment that they deserved. Like there's so much within that. It's not just that we're light and flowy and free.
It's about being
Mm-hmm.
self-led. It's about being your
Yeah.
own leader and leading by
Mm-hmm.
example. And then from that,
Yeah.
we magnetize. We're able to just be balanced in
Mm-hmm.
our own
Yeah. Yeah.
energy.
And we're able to, once we're in that energy, then like you said, it's magnetized. We bring in that abundance, like we create more. And so everyone around us is benefiting from that. Like that's the beauty of the feminine and all of
Hmm.
that abundant energy. So I love that.
Yeah. So over time, as I started developing myself more and more in my relationship with myself first, healing the identities that I had taken on that didn't
Mhm.
belong to me, and in taking on the identities that I
Yeah.
want, um, for myself, that are going to help me expand, I started experiencing the same energy that I would experience when I have an
Mm.
orgasm. Like the pure bliss in my
Yeah.
heart center
Mhm.
right here. It felt like my chest is is gonna
Yes.
explode in
Mhm.
bliss. And I've walked around and I'm like, does anybody else feels this? Like, what
Mhm.
in the hell?
Yeah.
like like
Mhm.
wow. And so I started experiencing it more and more throughout the day in different scenarios, when I have deep
Mhm.
conversations, when I'm out and walking in nature, when the sun
Yeah.
kisses my skin, when I'm holding my grandchildren tight, when I'm playing
Yeah.
with them, like, and it has nothing to do mainly
Mhm.
with only sex and sexuality. And so I really believe that our sexuality, has been
Mhm.
diminished, and it has been diluted, and it has been
Yes.
shamed, and it has been,
Mhm.
demonized. And so the only part that we get exposed to literally is just the one aspect of the physical
And it's what we're
sexual
giving to someone
act.
else because our sexuality, and yes, and it's literally our most powerful energy, and it's only
Yes.
celebrated or accepted or valuable when it's given to someone else according to society, right? And we know it's our most powerful
Yes.
energy, and just like you're talking
Yes.
about, you experience that beautiful abundance, that light energy, that filled heart energy, you experience that in other things that are not sexual. And that's where so much of that comes, like,
Yes.
that's our power, that's our creation energy.
I experience that when I'm
Mhm.
coaching a client, when I'm having, like,
Yeah.
conversations with in different when I'm doing my business, when I'm working on a project, when in so many different spaces, and actually my womb
Hmm.
space. Can I say that
Yes. Oh,
word
yes.
here?
Juicy.
So my pussy gets
Hmm.
ignited, and I walk around with
Yeah.
this turn on. That's this beautiful
Yes.
energy that spreads throughout my body. And it turns into creative energy. So another thing is that we have not been, well, we've
Hmm.
been disconnected from
Yeah.
our womb space, because that's a huge source of our
Hmm.
wisdom and our power. And so, when we are fully connected, and when we actually honor her, and we no longer feel like she's a problem, or she's sinful or disgusting or smelly or whatever other,
Yeah.
or ugly. So many women walk around not even not even feeling
Yeah.
connected to their womb space, and diminishing their womb space, because that's what
Yeah.
they've been taught.
Yes.
That's what we
Girl, I
have been,
mean, the years,
right?
the years that I didn't appreciate my body, I didn't even know myself. I didn't want to look at her. I didn't want to engage in anything physical. Literally,
Mm-hmm.
like everything I did in sex was for someone else. Like I didn't take in that pleasure myself. I felt guilty when men went down on me because I felt like it was something dirty or something unclean, right? And then when I'd be on my cycle, I was like, oh, I don't want to touch any of this. I want to get rid of it. And like now I think back about my thoughts and my energy towards my body and my pussy and like my cycle. Oh my gosh. Now I have so much reverence for my body and what she's doing and what she brings me, and like it's so different right now. But I mean, how many women are living in that? So many. Mhm.
So many. Like, I lived in that until my early
Yeah.
40s.
Yeah.
I'm about to turn 52, and it hasn't been until the last mainly like eight
Yeah.
years that I have fully embraced even my
Mhm.
cycles. Like, I'm like in the ending of my
Yeah.
bleeds. And now that I'm in the ending, like, I honor
Hmm.
them. I do all these
Yeah.
processes, and I'm like grateful, and I'm like, I don't know if this is gonna be the last one, but I love you and
Oh,
thank you
yes.
for bringing me health, because that's the sign of our health and our
Yes.
vitality,
Yeah.
right? So now I'm like, every
Hmm.
time I'm like, I love you, goodbye. I don't know if this is the last
Yeah.
time, because I've been going through the last, I would say, 8 months to a
Okay.
year. Like, I get my cycle, I get my period, and then I don't get it for like 3 4
Okay.
months, and then I get it again, and then
It's
again it
more
skips
like
another three
sporadic.
four
Yeah.
months. So it's in,
Hmm.
yeah, it's in that
Yeah. Yeah.
stage, right? And I think back to how many years she was with me that I didn't honor, and I would say, "Oh, I hate this, and I can't wait till I don't
Yeah.
have it
Yeah.
anymore." And because we have been so
Hmm.
conditioned to dislike ourselves and to
Yeah.
dislike our bodies, there's huge industries that thrive in us
Hmm.
believing
Hmm.
that our bodies are our enemies, or they're
Yeah.
disgusting, or sinful. And so there's a few things that I want to touch on that are really, really important. I think that once I shifted for myself the fact that I used to idolize romantic
Mhm.
relationships over
Yes.
everything else. So there was always the need to be in a
Hmm.
romantic relationship, and that was going to be me arriving to this pinnacle
We've
of
been taught that.
life. And so
We've been taught that that's like
that's
our
exactly
main
what we've
goal.
been taught.
Hmm.
And so we diminish and we completely forget the relationship that is the most valuable and important, which is the one that we have with ourselves, with our own soul, because we are the deepest, the most intimate, and the longest relationship we're ever
Yes.
going to experience in
Yes.
this lifetime. We truly are. And so when we nurture that one and we get to know ourselves at a deeper level by
Hmm.
asking questions. So in 2014, I had breast cancer. And it was in that moment when the doctor basically told me that he didn't know if I was going to live or if I was going to die. And he told me what he could do, and, that he was going to do his
Yeah.
best. That I started on a journey of asking more questions. So facing breast cancer illuminated the light on all the different ways that I wasn't living.
Yeah. I was going to ask how you started this. Yeah. Uh, that's beautiful. And to start that journey at such difficult time, I feel like that's when you really start to question, am I living for me? Am I doing the things I want to do?
And it showed me all my inauthenticities and all the different ways that I was lying to myself and I was pretending to be happy because I was chasing outside of myself, and I
Yeah.
was accepting what was given to me. And
Mm.
one of the things that I accepted that was given to me is the fact that when I was growing up, my parents didn't have any conversations with me around sex except to tell me that I wasn't supposed to have it until I got married, because
Mm.
if not, I was going to be a slut, I was going to be used goods, and I wasn't going to be desirable to a man. And so
Oh.
I took that on. I took that
Mhm.
on. And I lost my virginity when I was 19.
Okay.
And so after that, by the time I met my ex-husband, right, I
Yeah.
had all those conversations. I had the identity of I'm used goods.
Mm.
Like, I have to basically settle for whatever. And
Ah,
I
girl.
I I I then took on the identity that you know
I was searching kind of like to be saved by someone and get
Ah.
married, because that was the thing to do, was to get married, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so and so um one thing that we women make a huge mistake on when we're in the process of dating is we don't qualify ourselves in people. One, because we don't know ourselves. So if I
Yeah.
don't know myself, then I can't say, well, these are my standards, these are my non-negotiables, this is my vision for my life,
Mm-hmm.
this is my life purpose, these are my core values, these are
Yeah.
my belief systems, this is how I'm designing my life. These are my goals for the future. And
Yeah.
so, because we don't tend to know those things up front, we're just living life, existing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're not able to communicate that to someone else, right? And we're not able to ask, and so we don't qualify our partners, and we just get into relationships. I was more concerned with making sure that I did whatever it took to make somebody like me.
Yes. Yes. And especially like, yeah. Well, and when we're raised that way to where our purpose is to be for someone else, we don't value ourselves as the prize. We value that other person as the prize. And so we change our entire life, our identity, our
Mm-hmm.
joy and passion around that person instead of just being authentically who we are for us. And then we're chasing men. And that never works. That never works out.
So over the time, I developed these pillars in my life of what it looked like to love myself, because it's not just pampering myself or romanticizing my life. It's like really, it's about doing the work with myself. So for me, was really developing self-awareness, because
Mhm.
in that self-awareness I could see what works in my life and what doesn't work. What comes with that, when we develop that self-awareness, is shame, because we feel bad, and we feel responsible about all the things that we end up fucking up, and
Yeah.
how the impact that it has on ourselves and other people, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it creates shame. So
Mm.
developing self-forgiveness practices to deal with the shame and melt it away,
Mhm.
and then start discovering that truth, that we are, and the fact that, we are perfectly made and there's nothing wrong with us.
Yes.
However, we make mistakes, and so there needs to be a grace for our mistakes.
Yeah.
I can grow from it, I
Mhm.
can extract wisdom from it, I can become stronger, and then I can pivot and take a different direction.
Yes. And I feel like some of those the failures are the greatest lessons. Those are the greatest
They are.
experiences. They are.
They grew me to develop the capacity to hold pain and to not avoid these emotions
Yeah.
and run away from it, right? So it goes self-awareness, then the self-forgiveness, and now we have full self-compassion, so we can keep experiencing life, and then we accept all of it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And we're meant to have those experiences. Like, and every single one of those components is so important because it's
It
not
is.
just lessons, but it's being able to come back from them. It's being able to accept that. It's being able to love yourself through the process. Like, all of that is so important. And we don't give ourselves nearly enough grace and compassion about any of it. And so, yeah, no, that's so valuable and it's so beautiful. And I love that that came from such a challenging point in your life, right?
Yes.
That came from one of the most difficult parts of your life and difficult things to hear. And you're like, okay, how can I reframe this into literally
Yes.
something that is a positive, beneficial learning experience for me? And like,
Hmm.
look how that has transformed your life and what you're doing for other women now. It's huge.
It's I could have never imagined the
Yes.
life that I have today. If you would have
Yeah.
told me, that woman
Mhm.
who had breast cancer
Yeah.
in 2014,
Yeah.
she would have been like, you must be crazy. I don't have the capacity to do all those things. I don't have the courage to do all those things. I don't have the strength to do all those things.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's been the most enriching, the most powerful life journey, and I am so deeply grateful.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I was gonna say you have something really fun that I love that you do. So in your previous relationship, she was a different woman, right? That was you. But
Oh
because
yes.
you had such a different mentality, you had such a different
Yeah,
relationship with yourself at the time, you
yeah.
call her something else. And so I love kind of putting a name to these previous identities, right? Because it was us, but it was also us in a completely different season of life.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so who was that woman who had breast cancer? And then who was that woman who was in that relationship?
So the woman, actually, my one of my daughters came up with this,
Yeah.
because she's like, I can't relate to speaking to you today and then speaking about you in the past tense because they're two completely different women.
Wow.
So she's like, me dealing with you, like it occurs to me like that was another woman, that wasn't even you.
Mhm.
So I don't relate to you that way anymore at all. She goes, let's give her a name. And I'm like, yeah. So we named her Paul's wife. Paul is the name of my ex-husband. And we
Mhm.
named her Paul's wife because Paul's wife would just do what
Mhm.
other people wanted her to do. She
Yeah.
twisted herself inside out to try to please everyone else. She was a huge people pleaser. She she disregarded herself. She put herself
Mhm.
last,
Yeah.
and she thought that all of that meant that she was a good woman.
Yes.
And
So many women are Paul's wife right now. So many women are Paul's wife. Yes.
And you know what? Paul's wife didn't have the courage to have the kind of
Mhm.
conversations that I now have with my ex-husband. My ex-husband and I have transformed so much, and the people who have benefited have been my daughters, my granddaughter, and my grandson. We now have a loving, healthy relationship, which is completely
Yeah.
different than what used to happen in our relationship. And he actually took responsibility and accountability for his behavior. He asked for forgiveness. We cried together. You know, that level of healing. Now he's meditating. He's doing
Yeah.
his own inner work.
I want to point out how your transformation, how your self-love and working through that impacted so many other lives. And that's the value of the work that we're doing. It's not just for us. It's
Mm-hmm.
not just this selfish prioritization, right? It's impacting everyone, your daughters, your ex-husband, future generations. Like, look at that relationship now and look at his future relationships. Like, it's not
Mm-hmm.
going to look like what your relationship looked like. And so your
Yes.
transformation is so valuable in that.
Yes.
There is such a huge separation right now between men and women, and one of those really big connectors is the emotional intelligence with that and
Yes.
the communication. And that is one of the biggest disservices done to men in society, teaching them that they cannot connect to their emotions and they need to suppress it, and they feel shame and weakness about it. But it's incredible because the amount of men that I've been in relationships with, and I have showed them that softness and that kindness, but also the strength to hold the space for them, right? Holding
Yes.
the space for them in their emotions and not seeing that as weakness when they're vulnerable with me, not shaming them when they're open with me. Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
very supportive of that and encouraging of it. And I'm like, I want you to share your emotions with me. And so the more that we can open up that space to men, the more we're building the connection, the emotional intelligence, and like the more they can have a healthy experience too.
It's freeing. Like
It is.
I do the same thing in my relationships, and I
Mm-hmm.
actually witness their bodies like just like
Yes.
there's a
Oh, I
like
literally hold them. I literally hold them
yes,
like
yes, like
children, and
mm,
the tension just leaves their
yes,
body. I can feel them
yes.
melting.
It's so
Yes.
beautiful. It is
Yes.
so beautiful.
Yeah, it is. And they need that. And I love that. I mean, that's one of the beauties of the feminine, right? We're nurturing, we're loving, we're caring. We just naturally open up that space for them. And It's so needed. I mean, that's part of what I do in my dom practice too. So it's very therapeutic, and it's letting them be free, letting them release all of that is incredible. Okay. Thank you for sharing all of that beautiful story and your transformation and how that has impacted so many other people in your life. Like, I am so proud of you for that. And it's hard, girl. An
It's hard. It's hard.
11-year journey of work and healing. And I was just talking with someone else about this as well, because she also went on a 10-year journey of healing and inner work. And I was like, if you think about that, that's like a doctorate's degree in healing. We don't give ourselves enough credit for the work that we do and the expertise that we now have, because that's a decade that you have put into this work. And that's incredible.
Day in and day out. I don't take a break. This, for me, developing myself and being in this arena of continuous growth and expansion is my life. It's not something I do on the side. It's not something that I do part-time. I wake up every single day and I have my core values tattooed on the inside of the arm because it's for me. And I always look at them. My core values are love, courage, and freedom. And so I wake up every day asking myself, how am I going to embody love today? What am I going to do today to be courageous in my life? And how do I maintain the sense of freedom for myself and for others? Like, how do I do these things in my life? So yes, healing is quite the journey, and we consider it to be hard, but I believe that what's harder is staying the same when we're not happy, when we are in survival, when we are, just existing. I believe that's a lot harder than the work that it takes to change our lives, because once we start doing that work, it's magic. I have the most exquisite, relationship with both of my daughters.
Well, and just what a beautiful example that you are setting for them. And I want to think about like how that impacts their future relationships too. Like, they're going into relationships with partners and what that looks like for them, and their ability to tap into their emotions, set their boundaries, communicate with others, be truly authentic to themselves, because they've watched you through this journey. And now they have such a beautiful role model of what that looks like. And they've seen your transformation. It's not even the same woman. They're like, my mom is no longer that woman that she was. And for them to see the incredible transformation that you've made and the work that you've put in, I mean, what more beautiful example can you set for your daughters? That's incredible. That is so powerful. And that's how we're elevating the collective, and we're raising these generations, right? These generations of women who, because right now we're the first generation of women that have had a choice, and we've had independence, and we can live our lives on our own terms. And so now raising your daughters to be able to do that with the values, with the self-worth, that's huge.
It's to me, being a mom and motherhood and guiding and leading my daughters for them to learn how to lead themselves is the most valuable thing in my life. It's the thing that I'm the most proud of. One of my favorite quotes by Gandhi is, be the change you want to see in the world. And so that's what I took on. And when I began this journey, it's like, how do I be the example? How do I be the change? And we fall into that trap of wanting to change people and blaming people. Again, more victimhood. There's a victim and there's a villain, always. So for me, jumping out of being a victim, jumping out of blaming others, it gave me the space to be a leader in my own life. And then what happened is, instead of forcing people to change, I have transformed myself. And in me transforming myself, it has rippled out. And the ways that the people around me have transformed is like...
Girl, that ripple effect is huge. And
Huge.
imagine if how many of us started doing the inner work, we started healing, we were recognizing our value and our self-worth. Imagine the ripple effect of that, of all of our relationships. Like, everyone starts healing, everyone starts taking accountability. That's incredible. All right, girl, we are going to wrap up a little bit, but I want you to give our listeners just one or two strategies each day to tap into their self-pleasure, their sensual energy.
Ooh.
Give us a couple like juicy tidbits. What do you recommend?
Oh my God, I have a few things. So, one aspect that is really valuable is I started doing mirror work. In one of the
Mm,
self-development programs that I took, I was given mirror work. And I thought it was ridiculous and stupid when I was told to go do this. I was like, what the
yeah,
F? I'm like, you mean this is gonna change my life?
yeah.
Are you crazy? So they gave me the exercise to go in front of the mirror every single morning, look at
Okay.
myself in the mirror. First of all, like look into my own eyes,
Mm,
look at
mm,
my face, like be with myself. And
yeah.
then tell myself the things that I forgive myself for.
Mm, yeah.
So the more I started forgiving myself, like looking in my own eyes and forgiving myself, and then
Mm,
saying to myself, well, these are the things that I love about you, or these are the things that I
mm,
appreciate about you.
yeah. I feel like
Um,
even just like the initial step of that can be difficult. Just the initial step of looking at yourself in the mirror, making eye contact, like it's a process, you
it's a
know? And
process, and
mhm,
it takes time to have compassion for yourself. Like, and
yes.
then I got to the point where look at myself and say I love you, like I really love you. I love this about you. I love that about you. But when I began, I thought it was stupid. I was going through the
Yeah.
motions. I had a huge list of the things that I needed to forgive myself for, and I had
Yeah.
a very tiny list of the things that I loved about myself or appreciated
Mm,
about myself. And over time, that list flipped. And I've
yeah.
continued that practice because it was very
Yeah.
profound for me. And then I personally love breaking out into dancing. I will, I
Me
will,
too.
I will be like doing paperwork or really
Mhm.
focused work, like more in my masculine and just like being like,
Yes.
action focused. But I will make sure to take breaks throughout the day. I even put an alarm on my phone, dance party for 5 minutes, and I'll put my
Mm,
favorite music and I will dance my heart out.
I love that.
Or
Hmm.
another thing, when we're feeling, stressed, just take 3 really deep breaths
Hmm.
right into a room space,
Yeah.
like let it drop into a room
Hmm.
space and feel it, and
Hmm.
just those things change our physiology. They change
Yes.
the way that we feel.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It even changes the chemicals in your brain that are being released.
Yes.
So for all of our sciencey girlies who are not into the woo woo and the energetics, like it's literally changing the chemicals that your brain is releasing. And it's funny today because I was vacuuming and I had my earbuds in. I was listening to music. My favorite song came on, and I was like, forget the vacuum for a few minutes, and I was just dancing. And it
Yeah.
changed my entire
Hmm.
feeling, my entire vibe about the vacuuming. And then I was feeling myself, and I was like, all right.
Yeah.
It like
Yeah.
it yeah, it completely changes the energy around it. So
The last thing that I'm gonna say is like
mhm.
I am a big advocate for self pleasure. Doing them in the morning and they start off my day like
Mhm. Mhm. Yes.
and I,
Yeah.
I set I set a whole context, like I
Okay.
love candles, so I'll light up a candle. Yeah,
Mhm.
I sage or I light up
Mm.
Palo Santo because I clear my environment. I do a
Yes.
little meditation. So,
Oh,
I create an
the
entire
ritual.
environment because
Yeah.
I am here to celebrate me and to honor
Mhm.
me. And so I
Yeah.
don't need somebody else to do that. I buy myself roses all the time.
Yes.
So
Yes.
by my bedside, you'll see flowers,
Mhm.
like I take care and honor
Yeah.
me.
Yes.
And then from that overflow, from that standard, I invite
Mhm.
others.
Yep.
into my world.
I love the ritual of that, and that it doesn't have to be some long drawn out thing, because so many women feel like we don't have a lot of time, right? And so then it almost becomes something that feels like it's a big to do on our list and something that we have to put a lot of time for, but it doesn't have to be a lot of time. It can be just a couple minutes for yourself, just to take a break and give yourself a little bit of sensual input. Yeah, whether it's scent, feel, taste, whatever that is. So I love that. That's so juicy. Those are literally perfect practices. And I think I did like 2 of the 3 today. So I'm totally on board with it. Thank you so much, Maria. You have such a beautiful story, and everything you are doing personally and professionally transforming the lives of others is absolutely incredible. Can you please tell our listeners how they can find you, where they can follow you?
Yes, absolutely. So they can follow me either on Facebook under Maria Diaz,
Okay.
or on Instagram at Your Orgasmic Life. And all my stuff is there, and I would love to connect with you. And it has been such a deep honor to have the opportunity to have this conversation with you and to go through all the different spaces, because I think it's really valuable. You know, my life would have gone different if I had some of this wisdom when I was younger. And so my mission in my life, with my entire being, is to have the kinds of conversations that will ignite others to think
Yeah.
about their own life from a space of self-reflection
Mhm.
that can expand our lives for us to truly
Yeah.
live full of the best things that we
Yes.
desire.
And that's what we're here for. Those, we are not meant to just be living the mediocre existence. Like, we are here
Mm-hmm.
to experience pleasure, passion, fulfillment, purpose, all of it every day.
Yeah. So thank you. It's been such an honor having this conversation with you. And I absolutely love you and the work that you do. And let's continue spreading all this love and pleasure and yumminess all over the world.
Yes. Thank you so much, Goddess. I absolutely love it. And for all of the listeners, as always, please like, share, save this show for anyone that you feel it would be helpful for, especially the women in your lives. And I will see all of you lovely goddesses next week.